Well, welcome back to the show. We are honored to have Wendy Scott here joining us again from Timeless Closets and Cabinetry. That's timelessclosetsandcabinetry.com. We're talking about elegance meeting organization and all that she does, really redefining storage in your spaces. Based in the heart of New Jersey and has plenty years of experience helping you craft that perfect closet, dressing room, cabinetry. Let me have her introduce herself. Hi, Wendy. How are you?
I'm great, Jill. Thanks for having me again. Um, Timeless Closets and Cabinetry. We are designing custom closets and custom spaces for your home.
Beautiful. And by the way, you've been in business for over 20 something years, right?
I've been in the industry for almost 20 years. Yes.
Amazing. And it's a pleasure to have you back. And I know you have a
Thank
special
you.
guest with us today. Would you mind introducing her?
We do. This is Amanda Conger, who I know from the CMA, the ACSP, and the National Woods Board. So I consider her a dear friend, and she has a really special message for us to learn about today.
Beautiful. First and foremost, welcome, Amanda. And tell us a little
Thank
bit
you.
about yourself and what it is you do.
Thank you. Well, I am the executive director of all three of those organizations that Wendy mentioned.
That's
So
pretty big. And
keeps
tell
me
for
busy.
in detail for those that may not know these organizations, could you share more details about them?
Yes, the Cabinet Makers Association, the Association of Closet and Storage Professionals, and the National Woods Board.
Do you ever sleep?
No.
Oh my goodness. And a little bit of your background, how you got into this business, and then tell me, obviously, little details about what the National Woods Board is and, specifically what you do.
Yes, of course. I've been in the woodworking industry for over 20 years. I started out working for one of the machinery manufacturers in their marketing department, and that got me involved with the associations on the other side where we were trying to promote our products to the associations. And I learned the value of a trade association for the industry. And my career evolved, and I ended up getting involved in the actual association world, and I just love it. It's very fun.
Wow. Amazing. And where are you based out of?
I'm in Michigan.
Okay. And do you mind specifically diving into a little bit more about the associations? And of course, more specifically, I think you want to talk about the National Woods Board.
Yes, yes. The Cabinet Makers Association is for smaller cabinet shops. They're
Okay.
entrepreneurs. They do high-end custom cabinet work, and they're all US and Canada are members. And then the ACSP, which Wendy has mentioned before on the podcast, is a similar group, but for closets. And they're all entrepreneurs as well, small business owners, and they're making their way in the closet world. And then the National Woods Board is completely different. It's a 501c3 organization, so it's a not-for-profit that accepts donations. And we are working on transforming wood industry education. And I'd like to go into more details about that if it's okay.
Absolutely. Bring it on.
All right, can I share my screen?
Absolutely, you can. You have permission. There shouldn't be
All
any
right.
restrictions. Wendy shares all the time, right, Wendy?
Yes. I just can't turn it off.
I know, right?
All right. So transforming wood industry
Oh,
education. The first question is there we go. This we asked when we do this live, we ask for a show of hands. We can't do that on the podcast, but I'm just going to ask everyone listening, how many of you have unfilled or underskilled positions? And generally, when we do this live, if people aren't raising their hand, they're lying
uh-huh.
because everybody's struggling right now finding skilled workers. And I want to tell you about a scenario that what if there is a program to produce skilled and trained workers, and it does exist. The program is called The Mill. It's a national training center. It's in Colorado Springs, Colorado. And what they do is they have it's owned by a school district, a local school district, and they bus the students in for career and technical education. So let me share a little bit more about the
Sure.
mills. This is what they do. They have three programs. They have cabinet manufacturing, construction, and welding. Of that, they started in 2017. Last year or this year, they had 406 students enrolled in the program through one school district. It's amazing that many people are pursuing these careers. And this is a picture of the cabinet side. They're learning how to operate equipment. They're not just making birdhouses, they're making actual cabinets. And then this picture is really funny because it shows them at their desks preparing for their projects, but you'll see the kid in the corner is asleep.
Aww.
There's always a kid asleep in the classroom, right?
I love it. It's real life. It sure is. That's so funny.
Yeah. So let me go into a little bit about the why, which most of you probably already know, but there's 7.8 million jobs unfilled
Wow.
in the US. Of those, 12% are in our industry, which is huge, which is manufacturing and construction is how we classify the industry here. That's a lot of unfilled jobs. And then the workforce is evolving. The length of career is longer than it's ever been before. The average tenure, though, is shorter. It's only 4.5 years in a job. And then the learned skill, the half-life of a learned skill, which means is defined as how long it takes before you have to relearn the skill because it's obsolete. That is 5 years. So the concept of a career is being shaken to its core.
Wow.
And then our industry, people look at this picture and think this is what woodworking is about, a dusty, dingy, old factory. And to be honest, it's not. It's automated, it's very clean, it's very well lit. It's amazing. And that's what we need to do is change that perception of the industry too. So the Wall Street Journal just had an article about Gen Z becoming the tool belt generation. It said in that article, 75% of students said they were interested in vocational schools if they offered paid on-the-job training. Problem is, the poll also indicated that 80% of their parents wanted them to go to college over a skilled trade. So we have a tough situation, uphill battle there. The kids are interested, but the parents are not supporting it. So this is what the National Woods Board comes into play. Let me share a little about our mission and vision. So we're going to replicate the mill model, which is what that school in Colorado Springs, the mill. We're going to replicate that on a national level. And it's providing a collaborative platform between industry and technical education. And we're going to bridge that gap between education and the trades, creating advanced career opportunities that fulfill the industry's massive workforce needs that I just explained. How do we do that? That's the trick, right? So at the core, we have a scalable curriculum. And that curriculum goes down to the local school districts. But what it does on the other side is it works by providing employees to the wood shops and manufacturers on the left-hand side of the screen there. And then on the other side, the suppliers and designers provide that support and technology to help keep the programs running. Let me see if I can explain that a little bit better. So this is an example of an employer in Colorado Springs who has hired over 10 full-time employees directly from the mill. His name is Scott Robinson, and the company is Concepts in Millwork. He continues to support the program in various ways, from material, time, resources, and donations, and he's actually on the board for the National Woods Board. He believes this works. He's seen it happen, and he knows it works. So what are we offering? Let me describe that again. So we have this curriculum. It's the same curriculum that they teach at the mill. So we have acquired that curriculum. We're updating it and making it scalable to use nationwide. And we've also incorporated the Woodwork Career Alliance standards. Now, that's a certification program for the industry that certifies people on how to use the equipment. So they'll graduate with a certificate in how to use a panel saw. They get the saw blade certificate, is what it's called. And then they can take that with them to their jobs and say, hey, I know how to operate these machines. We also offer consultation to the schools. What equipment do they need? What support do they need? What kind of experience do the teachers have to have? That type of thing. And the industry network that we have as the board, but to provide that consultation with the materials and the supplies and the technology to the schools.
Amanda, is this for bringing the education to high schools or to VOTEX or to community colleges, or is it all of it?
All of the above. Great question, though. Yes.
So, Jill, I took woodshop in high school.
Oh, did you? So did I. I did. That was one of my courses. I remember.
And they don't have it
what
now.
I made.
That's the whole point of this. You now have to bus these kids out to VOTEX schools.
Really?
because it's not
They don't offer this?
Not very many schools offer wood shop anymore.
I didn't even know
So
that.
that's the problem.
My kids are 7 and 9, still a little early, but I have my niece and nephew that their cousins are a little older. I'm going to find that out. That's horrible.
Yeah, and then when they do have a wood shop class, they think a birdhouse, which is not helping them with real world skills. So they need to learn how to make cabinets and closets and other good wood products.
Yeah,
So what we need, well, the reason I'm talking is what we've done, we've gone through all these steps. I'm going to go through it really fast. And what we
sure.
need is funding to get going.
Mm-hmm.
That's the problem, is it always is, right? You got to have money to get it going.
Yeah,
So the funding is to update the curriculum, to develop an online distribution process for that curriculum, hire full-time staff, and create additional industry-specific paths, like I mentioned, closets, components, millwork, etc. Right now, it's just focused on cabinets. Although it is transferable to all those other industries, there are specific programs for each of those other specific paths. So we wanted to, our goal was in the first year to raise 100 grand, and we're right at 34,000 right now. So we're getting there, but we could use a little help.
yeah. And by the way, how do we reach out? What is the contact information?
It's nationalwoodsboard.org.
Perfect.
I have it on the last screen too. So last question, how many of you have unfilled or underskilled positions still? Answer right. Of course you do. So
Mm-hmm.
how do you get involved? How do you get involved? The big question. Financial support, money, we need money. Second is technology. If you are a wood products machinery manufacturer and you have equipment that you're willing to donate to schools, get in touch with us. And input, influence, and connections. If you know schools in your area that need a better program or need a program, connect us with those schools, because it's impossible for us to reach out to every school in the United States. We don't know
Yeah,
them all. So if you have a school that needs help, let us know. And then last but not least, I'm going to go into other options.
sure.
This is an apprenticeship program. So I know Wendy talked about this a little bit on the first podcast, that there is a apprenticeship program for our industry. It's called Woodwork Manufacturing Specialist. And it was designed by a friend of mine, Kelly Victor Burke, and she's also in Michigan. And she was struggling to find employees. And so she said she came from education. And she said, well, there has to be an apprenticeship program. We could just get them started.
Yeah,
Turns out she had to combine 3 or 4 different programs to create one solid program. It would have taken them like 15 years to train this person on the current program. And so she said, let me combine them into one. And now it's like I think it's a less than 2-year program. They get funding for it. And it's approved by the Department of Labor now. So she got it fully approved. It includes all these wonderful aspects of the woodwork manufacturing, including coatings, CAD, megatronics, which is like CNC processing. That's the word they use in education. So there's a lot of questions and myths about apprenticeship, though. People think an internship and apprenticeship are the same thing, and they're not. The apprenticeship is a paid program that the employer pays, and they go to school while they're taking the program. So it's a combination program of people think, oh, I'm choosing my career over college. You're not. You're doing both. So that your employer is paying for your college education, so to get trained on their equipment and the technologies in the industry. This is the step after our National Woods Board curriculum program, which is why I mention it. So like they go through high school or a community college, it could be a supplement program to the internship, to the apprenticeship. So they go through the program, they want to get a job, they get a job, their employer pays for this apprenticeship program, and they get even more trained. So that's how we're training the future generation.
Oh, beautiful. Thank you so much for sharing
Yes.
this. And just by the way, Wendy, tell me about your involvement now. How did the two of you eventually meet and connect? Obviously in the business, but tell me your personal story, how the two of you met.
So we met through the ACSP. I'm a former president of the association, and Amanda now runs our association, and I'm still involved. And she's been involved in the National Woods Board for a while, since its inception, I believe.
Mhm.
And for me, my son didn't go to college. He's actually a union carpenter, went through an apprenticeship program, but didn't have wood shop in high school like I did. So, there's everyone is, even in my industry, how do you find people? How do you find good skilled labor? And you can't. So for me, I'm like, I understood the mission without even having to be sold on it. And I'm like, oh yeah,
Yeah.
let me donate. So it was the first step in me being able to participate in it. And then again, this is, it's such a good message. I wanted to make sure I could share and give Amanda a platform to share the message as well nationally. So I've known her through the ACSP, and it now she's a friend as well. So that's our connection.
Beautiful. We love it. And did you want to share more about the WCA, and talk more about these the apprenticeships and internship programs? Like currently, how does it all work? I mean, like you said, you can't reach out to everyone, but there's got to be. I'm shocked. There's no more woodworking in schools. I'm going to find out in my local area. I live on Long Island in New York, but that's a shame. That is a
Mhm.
shame.
It is a shame. And that's why we're doing what we're doing, because they can't get the trained workers because they're
Yeah.
not getting it in the schools. And you have to start early. I mean, middle school would be ideal when they're really thinking about it and getting them in that wood class earlier than after they graduate. That's too late.
There is a small movement going throughout the country. Like I
Hmm.
belong to Metro, which is my local National Home Builders Association and or Builders Association, and they give a scholarship towards the industry. And then you have JB Cutting, who we talked about at my last podcast. They have, Amanda, they have an internship or they have an apprenticeship?
I believe it's an apprenticeship, and they also do the manufacturing day in October, and they open up their doors for schools, local schools, to come visit them. And that's an amazing opportunity for the children to see what a shop is really like.
So there's all these little voices, and now like the National Woods Board is combining the purpose and making it more broad so everyone can have something to lean towards and say, all right, we know we need it. Where do we get it from? And so
Yeah,
they've created it so that it can get back into the schools.
got it. I love it. Well, what else do you want to make sure we are aware of for today, ladies?
Well, you asked what our next step was, or our first step. How do we get it in these schools? We
Yes.
have a pilot program starting this fall. And so they will be reviewing the curriculum that, like I said, has already been used by the mill, but they'll reviewing it, different schools reviewing it, and see how it works for them and their program. And then we'll make the edits to the curriculum based on their feedback and roll it out to the general public then in the fall of 25. We're very excited about that.
Ooh, I love it. Remind us again of the websites, how we can contact you. And we still have another 9 minutes left in the show, but please share both your websites.
Yes, nationalwoodsboard.org is where you can learn more about the National Woods Board and donate now.
Amanda, do they contact you through that too?
Yeah, there's a form on there to contact me too.
So mine is Timeless Closets and Cabinetry, and that is my name for Instagram, Facebook, and my website. And you can also call 908-975-9381. And then the other associations that we mentioned was the Cabinet Makers Association,
Yep.
and just Google it, as well as the Closet Association, which is the ACSP, Association of Closets and Storage Professionals. And I believe that one's closets.org is the website for that one.
Yeah, that's
Wow.
closets.org, and then cabinet makers is cabinets.org. So it's
Because
easy
see,
to remember.
I had no idea. I mean, the shortage of trained professionals in this field. I had no idea. And why is that? Do you think it's because they're taking them out of schools, or is there less, generational, family teaching, a trade that's it's in the family?
It's a combination of all the above, but it's that perception that I talked about where the parents don't want their children to be involved in a trade is a major problem. We have to overcome that hurdle because it's
Yeah.
definitely a viable career.
I
The
still say
push.
that all the time to my children because we're talking about college. They're so little, and my niece and my nephew, and I'm like, look, college is not for everyone. And my other son has, my other nephew has special needs, so he's in high school now, but he's in a vocational program, so he's learning hands-on skills. And they were just at Chili's last week working with their school, like showing them, that's aspect of the hospitality industry, but people are needed in all fields. And I just feel like a lot of us force our kids to go to college and spend a lot of money. And it looks like a lot of them aren't even getting jobs these days. But these are jobs that people need that can be filled. And wow, I mean, really beneficial.
They're actually really good money making jobs too.
Hmm.
I mean, I know what my son makes as a union carpenter, and I'm like, holy cow. But you just mentioned the hands-on, and they've taken so much of that hands-on out of the high schools. We took home ec, we took wood shop.
I remember home ec. Don't tell
None
me
of
that's gone too.
it, yeah, kind of. Well, they have a cooking class in my kids. They had one in my kids' high school. My kids are older now, but my kids don't even know how to write a check. It's
Mhm.
all been removed um,
It's
from the
all,
schools, which is sad. And this is basically what builds your nation. I mean, you need someone to build the house. You
yeah.
need someone to build the cabinetry. And there's some of the generations, like you said, just don't do it anymore. They just don't have the interest. They want to go into the colleges, and now they're going into debt.
Got it. And let me
When,
just ask, Wendy,
yeah.
do you have anyone under your wing, or if someone's out there who's in your area, like have you mentored, taken someone underneath you, who's maybe
Um,
interested in this, or would you?
th Through the association, I do that quite a bit. I have a lot of people that call me and ask me questions. I had so
Good.
much fun. Actually, 2 days ago, I had a phone call with a brand new 29-year-old who just started his own closet company. And so I answered a whole boatload of questions for him with him over the phone. And then I invited him to shadow me for the day. We went to my manufacturer. We went to my job site where it was a new construction where we were building 3 different model homes filled with all the closets. So he was able to see different ways to do things and just ask me every single question he could think of. And so yeah, I mentor new closet companies all the time, but I also get mentored by other closet companies. And that to me comes right back to the association. You get out of it what you put into it. I've received so much from being a member of my association that I feel like I just want to give back even more than I was given. So yeah, I mentor all the time. Um,
Beautifully said. All right. So in our last 5 minutes together, what else do you want to make sure we're aware of for today?
It's a
we
good
had a
question.
pause. So this was our fastest one yet.
Well, it's also, yeah, it's when there's three, it's hard to decide. I don't want to jump the gun here. So whoever wants to take that question.
So we talked a lot about the National Woods Board, but so apprenticeship programs and so like what Kelly does, is that also government funded? Like you could get let's just say a cabinet shop decided to do that program. Do they get funded by the government as well? Like supplemented?
Yes, yes. Quite often it pays for the school and their pay. So it's like, why wouldn't you take advantage of this? It's a little paperwork involved on your end, but
Yeah.
it's worth it for the financial rewards you get. And that's what Kelly has a whole presentation on her website, which if people contact me, I can email them that information because one more website is going to confuse all of us. But
Well,
she's,
when we're done, when you guys send us the recording, we put it on my website, and then we
So
include
share it.
whoever we've talked about, all of their website links will be included on there, and we'll put Kelly Burke's website on there too, and that
yes,
probably a direct link to both
yes.
of the that page specifically because that was a lot of information. And I would wonder, we've looked at it for design, like to get design helps and interns for that, and I don't know that there's specific programs yet, or I haven't found it yet, but you can contact the local colleges and get an intern through there, like through interior design school or something like that. So it is available. You just have to look and kind of do your research. But this is nice because this is all ready to go.
Yeah,
Right. The work's
absolutely.
been done for you. No need to reinvent the wheel.
All right. Well, ladies, one more time, tell us all forms of contact. And thank you for making us aware of this shortage. And for those out there who financially can help, can give, can go donate, can help with an internship situation or apprenticeship, please reach out.
So I am Wendy Scott from Timeless Closets and Cabinetry, and you can find me at wendy@timelesscc.com, Timeless Closets and Cabinetry for Facebook, Instagram, and my website. And 908-975-9381 is actually my work phone number. I always give my cell because I can never remember it. And Amanda.
I am Amanda Conger with the National Woods Board today, and the website is nationalwoodsboard.org. And I hope you can learn more and donate today. Thank you.
Perfect. Thank you, ladies, for being here, for joining us. Always appreciated. And in the meantime, would I mind you? There you go. I was going to say, would you mind just stop sharing the screen? It makes for a better seamless close. Thank you, Amanda. Thank you, Wendy. Pleasure to have you guys back, and looking forward to the next time we connect. Okay.
Thanks for
Thank
having
you.
me.
Thank you. Have a fantastic weekend.
Broadcasting from the business capital of the world, this is the Podcast Business News Network.